Welcome to another episode of You Know Ball, baby. Brought to you by the Run the Play Network. I'm your host, Anthony. Co-host is usually here, but sadly, Philly Phil's getting sick. Told him to rest up, get ready for the holidays. Today, we're going to be going over all the biggest NBA news this last week. And honestly, it wasn't much. But my biggest piece of news from this last week was these NorCal teams, the Golden State Warriors and the Sacramento. Real quick, I had an argument with someone a while ago that's from Northern California, so I don't want to offend nobody. But Sacramento is Northern California because it's not Southern California. And if it's not Southern, it's Northern. But Sacramento and Golden State, there's a lot of questions between these two teams, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today mainly. We got some other stuff in the news too, but first of all, let's start with the Warriors, okay? And I want to say that I don't think the Warriors are really struggling. Sure, they're not the Warriors of old, which we can't really expect, but let's not sit here and act like this team wasn't the 1-2 seed pretty early on in the season. And then some Draymond stuff happened per usual and they slid. But this team is legit. The Memphis lost by 50. I don't hold too much weight in that. That was more of Memphis winning than the Warriors losing, if that makes sense. I know that's kind of dumb, but that's really what it is. Memphis, a lot of the Warriors players, especially Draymond Green, first of all, hate the Grizzlies. Second of all, came out and talked a lot of shit about the Grizzlies. Draymond Green calling Zach Edey soft, and that shit just does not – you can't do that. You're not the old Warriors. You don't have a KD and a prime Clay to bail you out anymore, Golden State. So when a team gets pissed off and they hear all that, it's not game 19 of the season. This is their championship. I want to go out there and fuck up the Warriors, and that's what they did. I rewatched a lot of the Stephen Curry shots, and to me, Jalen Wells obviously was hustling, but it didn't seem like Stephen Curry was locked up. He was just missing shots at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, Stephen Curry could have gave him 40 points, and that's not going to change the result of this game. They lost by 50. The Warriors are going to be fine. They're going to bounce back. The Kings, on the other hand, I don't really know. There's questions for me. I think Keegan Murray is a dude that has struggled this season, and I think if Keegan Murray gets going, then maybe they can turn the season around. He's supposed to be the shooter because they don't have much of that. Sabonis can hit him, but he's not a shooter. De'Aaron Fox, he's good with the ball, but I wouldn't call him like a knockdown shooter. DeMar DeRozan, mid-range specialist. Kevin Huerter has been very up and down this season. Same with Keon Ellis. Keegan Murray should be the consistency that, hey, I'm going to be in the corner. I'm going to be reliable. If you guys get in a funk, kick it out to me and I'll knock it down. And he just hasn't been that, and that kind of makes it hard on everyone around him. Sabonis now, it's a little bit of like a, should I kick it out to Keegan? He's going to shoot it. Is he going to make it? DeRozan is going to the basket, doing his isolation. He's not thinking about kicking it out. De'Aaron Fox is someone who usually would kick it out to Keegan. It's just not – I think Keegan Murray is the problem here, and I think it could be fixed. With that being said, if there were to be a trade, a lot of people are throwing around some bogus with Zach LaVine, Vucevic, De'Aaron Fox. I really want to see a De'Aaron Fox to Houston trade. I know it might not be popular. I know it's like the Rockets have all this stuff. Why would they trade for De'Aaron? Imagine a De'Aaron Fox, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, Jabari Smith, Alperen Sengun starting. Oh my gosh. It would probably have to involve Amen or Tari Eason, some capital, maybe both those guys, maybe a Cam Whitmore. I don't have an exact package for you guys. Fred would have to be involved to make the money work. But, I mean, come on. You're telling me you wouldn't want to see that? I mean, I guess for Sacramento it doesn't make sense because their problem is knocking down threes, and now you're trading for Amen Thompson. But you're telling me you wouldn't want to see that? You wouldn't want to see De'Aaron Fox and Jalen Green on the perimeter? You wouldn't want to see a Sengun who could work like a Sabonis does? I know he's not Sabonis. Settle down. But he works pretty similar type of way. Jabari Smith would probably get elevated by De'Aaron Fox because Jabari Smith could play that Keegan Murray role. Jabari Smith been so inconsistent this season. Maybe they need that consistency from a better playmaking point guard for sure. I had a thought, and I want to know what you guys think about it at home because I don't know if I even agree with it. But De'Aaron Fox, to me, is as a player on the tier of like a Devin Booker and a Donovan Mitchell, but he doesn't get put there because he doesn't have those key playoff wins that those guys have. So just kind of let me know, as a player, as a entity in a vacuum, the player De'Aaron Fox, do you think he's as good as those guys? Comment down below that. One more thing on the Warriors and that 50-point loss for everyone that's making a huge deal about it. Last season, the Celtics had a 33-point loss. The year before that, the Nuggets had a 30-point loss. Like, I know 50 is obviously a big number, but teams are going to get blown out in the season, and that's perfectly fine. Yeah, let's go into our next bit of news. Joel Embiid is back, and shout out Joel Embiid because I took him over, I think it was 30.5 the other day, and he hit 32 points. So shout him out. I took that on Boom Fantasy. Let's hear a word from our sponsor.
Man, okay, LeBron hit my parlay. Let's get it.
Oh shit, he hit it?
Yeah, bro. Look at this.
I won $200. I tailed your parlay.
How the heck did you win $200?
I used Boom Fantasy. I used their pick and spin, spun the wheel, got 10 times my money.
Bro, you gotta hook me up.
If you use code RTP, you could get a risk-free bet up to $100. Let's get back to the video. Yeah, Joel Embiid is back. In his last 4 games, he's averaging 30 points, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks. No one's really talking about it because Philly's been kind of lame, kind of inconsistent, kind of bad. Joel Embiid is back, but he's in and out of the lineup. But it's just something I wanted to point out. Like, 30 points is impressive, and because it's Joel Embiid, it doesn't get talked about, you know? Shout out Joel. He's obviously a hooper. This team with Maxey, hopefully Paul George could ramp it up a little bit. He's slowly getting there. But if he could complete a full ramp up, then yeah, this team is back and this team is scary. A Jason Tatum quote. Jason Tatum said he doesn't want an MVP award. He wants another ring. I love it. And for people that are mad about this, Jason Tatum is never going to be the best player in basketball. That's like one thing about this game that people need to understand. Like, I love Wemby, but I don't know if Wembanyama will ever be the best player in the league. Like Shea, Luka, those guys are all better than him, and they're progressing, you know? Jokic, I don't know, but Jokic is going to get old eventually, you know, and his game may not. I can see him retiring early, but like Wembanyama, and I'm not saying he can't. There's no chance he'll ever be the best player in the league, but there is a slim chance that Wembanyama, maybe not slim, I think a 50-50 that Wembanyama is never going to be the best player in basketball, which is perfectly fine. You don't have to be the best player. You can be the second best player. Kevin Durant's a name that people have in majority of their top 10 all-time lists, but Kevin Durant has never been the best player in the NBA because he's been playing with LeBron, playing with Curry. Sure, there's stretches where KD could be the best player in the league, but he's never finished a season as like, this is KD's year. Even his MVP year, we all know LeBron's better than him. Harden, Westbrook, like, those guys had better ceiling seasons than KD did. And that's fine. That's why, like, I don't think Tatum needs to win an MVP. Maybe eventually he gets one because it's like, damn, this team's been killing for 5 years. He's the best player. We'll give him an MVP. But I don't think he necessarily needs a single MVP to get cemented as one of the greatest players of all time. If they win 4 rings the next 4 seasons, then you better believe Tatum's going to be in my top 10 players. That's why I got Curry in my top 5 all time. That's why a dude like Bill Russell gets all this love, even though it was a kind of pee-wee era. Bill Russell obviously was a hooper, and Bill Russell played in won 11 rings. You know, that's just what it is. I was about to say KD too, but I don't have KD in my top 10 just because I think skill-wise he's obviously a top 10 basketball player of all time. Might be the greatest basketball player of all time if we're just talking straight like skill. But with that being said, like, there's more to that. His rings, he can't really do it by himself. He's never shown that. So, and I'm not saying that's another interesting thing because you don't expect a player to do it by themselves either. But also, a player shouldn't have to play with Curry, Clay, Draymond, a 73-9 team to win a ring, and then you can't win one anywhere else. You know? Like, that kind of says a lot too. Shout out KD. I was thinking about it the other day. Like, if I was an NBA player, I'd want to live that KD lifestyle, you know, where it's like you just go out there and hoop. You don't worry about no family, no girls, no nothing. That's how you get stuck in these Travis Hunter situations. Hey, but that's for the football pod. Alex Caruso pens in a 4-year, $81 million deal. Great fucking deal. A player like him to get roughly $20 million a year, I think that is an amazing deal. I'm really happy with what the Thunder are doing, especially with this Alex Caruso deal. Hartenstein. And it kind of leads into, like, the second apron. Because if this was 5 seasons ago. Alex Caruso, not 5 seasons ago, but if this was like a couple before this apron stuff, Caruso could have gotten a $30 million deal. Let's be for real. I mean, he's one of the best perimeter defenders, if not the best perimeter defender in the NBA. Sure, he hasn't looked as amazing this season, especially shooting the ball, but in a previous year, he could have been a $30 million player. Believe that. Now with the second apron, you can't overpay these guys because you're going to get stuck in a place you don't want to get stuck in. And that's kind of why I like this. It promotes players staying on the teams that they sign with. No more requesting for trades, asking out. Sure, it's fine, but a lot of this NBA is dying conversation is because these players are swapping teams, where I had an uncle tell me the other day that he had a Paul George jersey he had to give away to the homeless because he's a Clipper fan. Like, these player swaps, it makes it hard for the game to follow. In the NFL, you don't really see the key players swap. You don't really see the quarterbacks swap. If they're big names, they're a staple on that team. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers before this season. Now he's not good. So it's fine if he goes somewhere else. But these players kind of, like, you rarely see those cornerstones leave. In the NBA, we've seen Jimmy Butler's move around, LeBron's move around, KD's move around. Never see a Steph Curry move around. Never see a Giannis move around. Never see a Tatum move around. But you see like a Westbrook, a Harden. Like, these are all the names that people know, and they bounce around so much like a basketball. So it's interesting. Don't hate on this because your favorite team can't make trades. Hate on your favorite team for oversigning these players and paying too much damn money. The last thing I wanted to talk about, and we're going to end it on a wholesome note, we finally had a Cole Anthony game, man. I love seeing players like this just go out there and hoop, man. Like, he plays some pure basketball. I want to give a huge shout out to Cole Anthony. It was reminiscent of the Derrick Rose game. He obviously didn't go out there and give him 50 or nothing like that, but you could just tell that this game meant more than just Cole Anthony scoring 35 points. It was a big game for him. But that's it. Let me know at home what you guys think was your favorite thing in the news this last week. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, but most importantly, run the play, baby. Boom.